Hello there, I'm Josef from Brothers in Dice channel, and now I'm back with the Hera Expansion unboxing. Let's see what is in the box. Again, shrink wrapped. Guys, the reason why these expansions are still in the shrink wrap is that there is so much stuff in the base box that I really didn't feel the need to add to the experience. Maybe later, when I start to get bored with the base game, I will start introducing these expansions. I already played a few of them. I played Hephaestus, and I played the Poseidon expansion that I unboxed last time. And yeah, it was pretty good. The scenarios in the Poseidon expansion were a little bit wonky, so instead I chose to play just a skirmish game. Anyway, we are looking at Hera. So this is her. We have some other cool stuff inside. We will look into it in depth in just a minute. Okay, so what do we have? We have rulebook, of course, English one and a French one. We have the minis. Oh, come on. Okay. We do have the dashboards for troops. 1, 2, and a new map, double-sided, of course, again. One side, the other side. This looks like some kind of a nature temple. Nice. I do not see any new terrain symbols, so okay, that's it. So there is considerably less stuff. The box is smaller compared to the Poseidon expansion. But still, we have some nice new minis here. So Hera, interestingly, she's not in the base game, even though the whole premise of the Mythic Battles is that Hera released the Titans from the Tartarus. So the whole game is a result of Hera's meddling. And we only get her in the expansion. Caledonian Boar, the one killed by Atalanta. Okay, this is the 100-headed snake. And we have veteran versions of Achilles and Hercules. And another great hero, Perseus. He holds Medusa's head in his hand. And with cards, a lot of cards. Well, let's look at these closer. So, Hera Expansion is an interesting one. You can immediately see that the scenario book that you will get with the expansion is a little bit thicker than the books that come with the other expansions, and it brings in some new elements to the games. So it introduces a new campaign that has how many scenarios? Yeah, 12 scenarios, so quite a few. And the scenario is It is called New Labors of Heracles, and it is a two-player scenario. It will put Heracles against Achilles with a both of them will have the same army or access to the same units during the campaign. But here comes the twist, and you can see this explained here. So for each completed scenario you will earn special renown points, and for renown points in between the scenarios you can buy these upgrades. So you have recruitment and equipment cards. This is how you read them. So this is a recruitment card. This is how much renown you have to spend to buy this recruitment card. This is how much it will cost you in recruitment points when recruiting an army before the battle. And here is the effect. Replaces Achilles with veteran Achilles. That's right. I have already teased that with the minis when I was unpacking them. There are veteran versions of both Heracles and Achilles in this expansion, and they are slightly better. And you can basically buy an access to the new units for your army. So you can get Amazons. There are some units that are specified here, both for Heracles and for Achilles, that they will have at the start of the campaign. But then you can add new troops to their armies using these recruitment points. And then there are these, the equipment cards. Are these the equipment cards? Well, this is even something else. Wow. So I didn't read through the whole book, so I guess there are some cards that are used in specific scenarios. But you have these. Oh yeah, this is an equipment card. Cyclades training. Okay, so you will purchase an equipment card like this one with 1 renown. Then during recruiting an army you will spend 1 recruitment point to get this card, and then a unit can be upgraded using this card. In this case you can equip this one to your troops, and the troop will get +1 defense and +1 range. Nice. Okay, now we have some equipment which is specific for the heroes. Okay, so the composite bow will give the hero the archer talent, the customized armor will give the hero close combat talent, crown of command. Okay, so this is pretty nice. This will give you an art of war card during each of heroes activation. Nice. Gain talent phalanx, gain talent mobility. Enemy units cannot enter the hero's area. That's pretty interesting. Okay. Does it mean enemy units cannot enter hero's area? So that means that you can be only attacked by ranged attacks. That's pretty cool. Okay, what else? Monster Slayer with Perseus and Medusa's head. Some improvements for the monsters. Okay. This looks very interesting. I'm already tempted to play this campaign, even though I don't really do that, because you have to block some time to do that regularly and find an opponent that will play with you for maybe a month or something. So there are 12 scenarios here. Cool. Very nice. Okay, so these are the RPG elements in Hera Expansion. Next we will have a look at the minis. Perhaps I should show you, yeah, so you also get the activation cards as per usual. I have sorted out the French ones away. Let's start with a look at our heroes, the leaders of the campaign. So I have put here both the original version from the base game and the veteran versions. What I find hilarious are the Scots, which are identical. Let's get some focus. This focus. Come on. Okay, so you probably cannot see that very clearly, but these are identical sculpts. There are just a few add-ons put on each one. So Heracles has a slightly different club. He has the lion's head on top of his head, and he has a bow. And that is significant. I will show you why in just a minute. Achilles, the same thing for him. Yeah, this one isn't he? Yeah, he's slightly. Yeah, his heel is failing him already. So Achilles switched his sword for a spear. Other than that, he's pretty much identical. I find that very amusing, and I approve of this choice. Okay, so how did the stats change? So Heracles, he has gained a little bit of strength. Defense. So he went from 8 to 9 on his top profile, and also like he gained a little bit on the lower profiles as well, but his life is unchanged. He went up a point. He has the same number of activation cards and Art of War cards. He has slightly different talents. So the leader talent was dropped, and instead of that you will get a Force of Nature. And if you look at his abilities, the Herculean feat, which allows you to re-roll up to 3 dice, has been unchanged, but the Herculean strength has been replaced with Hydra's blood. And at the first look, it doesn't look better. Actually, it looks worse. It doesn't have the +2 range, and it costs 2 Art of War cards instead of 1. So the difference is that Heracles now has range 2. So that is his new bow, and he can do an area attack with his new bow, and he doesn't have to remove a piece of terrain to do that, compared to the original Herculean strength. And also the area attack will be done using his strength, which is 8, and the original Herculean strength was done using the power of 7. So he got a boost, that is probably worth the 1 extra point. Now for Achilles. So Achilles, you see his talents remain the same. He also went up a point, but he now has one more activation card and one more Art of War card, which is pretty nice. The stats are unchanged. The endurance ability, which allows him to ignore the first wound, has been unchanged. And the Achilles prowess, which allows him to change any blanks from the first attack into ones, has been replaced with Master of Battle, which is very similar, but it says whenever Achilles attacks, you may change any blank results into ones. So you can use that even on the second attack, on the follow-up one, when you re-roll the dice. This is neat. I like this design choice. And now for the goddess that gave name to this expansion, Hera. Again, very nice stoic sculpt. She has some peacock feathers here on her shoulder. There is also a peacock feather motif on the staff. Yeah, this is the girl that started all of the mayhem. The wife of Zeus and a jealous wife. So one thing that you notice immediately is that she only costs 4 recruitment points, which is less than the other gods. She brings 4 activation cards, 1 Art of War card. She has sneak attack and close protection, which is a talent that you do not see that often. I think it gives her boost to defense when defending against close combat attacks. The stats are mediocre, and her ability, Perseus, is again a board controlling one. So whenever she suffers a wound, the attacker will receive a Perseus token that will lower his defense, offense and movement by 1. The movement being the most important one here. So if someone, let's say that a god suffers 2 Perseus tokens, he suddenly cannot move. And you can get rid of these tokens in pretty much the same way as you do for the Medusa tokens, and that is by discarding the Art of War cards. So this is Hera. Who do we have next? We have Hurons. Hurons is a centaur that gave the name to the star constellation Centaur. He was tutor to Achilles, I think, and some other heroes, maybe Perseus, I do not remember. But yeah, so of course, as a centaur, he does have movement of 2. He brings 2 Art of War cards. So unlike the other centaurs, he's the smart one, not the wild one. And his abilities, immortality. So basically by spending an Art of War card, you can prevent him being killed. And he will stay at 1 life, and fortunately he can still move with 1 life, so it can be actually pretty useful. And then the Hurons Wisdom, this is a very interesting one. So at the end of his activation, you may draw another card from your deck, so this gives you an advantage. And when you do that, all of the players, including you, may search the discard piles for an Art of War card. So basically, he can give you 2 cards to your hand, so this is super powerful. But of course, all of the opponents will get an Art of War card as well, if they have 1 in their discard pile. So you better be sure that you have better things to do with the Art of War cards than your opponent. And let's have a look at his sculpt. Very nice. Yeah, he looks very different from the Centaurs in the main box. I'm looking forward to paint this one. Nice. Next we have Perseus, and this is probably the most famous hero from this expansion. Not probably, most certainly. So this is the guy who killed Medusa, and he was like a granddaddy or ancestor of Hercules from the mother side. So as you can imagine, so the stats are, you know, pretty standard. Monster Slayer, very fitting. Initiative, Guard, 2 Art of War cards, 4 activation cards, 4 points cost. But he has Medusa's Gaze. So basically he has the same ability as Medusa from the base game, which is pretty cool. And then the Monster Hunter, talents and powers of monsters do not affect Perseus even if he wants them to. Yes, funny expression. And the Medusa that he holds in his hand also has a funny expression. Yeah, I'm glad that we have this mini here. Nice. Next we have Eurystheus. Very nice sculpt. So this is a support character. As you can see from his dashboard, he has very mediocre or even bad stats. He doesn't have he has 0 attack. But he has close combat protection, bolster and leader. Does bring an Art of War card, has 3 activations, costs only single point. And he has 2 interesting special abilities. The Labor of Eurystheus. This power takes an effect as soon as Eurystheus is deployed. Choose one of your non-divinity units that has already been deployed and declare this unit to your opponent. The chosen unit cannot be Eurystheus. Until the chosen unit has been destroyed, Eurystheus ignores all wounds. He is still affected by any non-wounding aspects of an attack. So until you kill his protector, he cannot die. And the other one, Protector of Athens. All other friendly units in Eurystheus area gain +1 defense. So in the campaign there, Eurystheus is part of Achilles' army. So imagine declaring Achilles as his protector and running him with Achilles. Then suddenly you have Achilles with defense 10, because normally he has 9. This will boost it to +1. The first damage done to the Achilles will be ignored, and this makes it a pretty nice combo, along with the other support skills that Eurystheus has. And for 1 recruitment point, it's definitely worth it. I'm really looking forward to play Eurystheus. Next we have the King of Thieves, Autolycus. So Autolycus does cost 2 recruitment points. He has 5 activations, so this is above the standard. Does bring an Art of War card, has sneak attack, mobility and climb. He has King of Thieves. Autolycus considers Omphalos claimed by other units to still be unclaimed. Claiming an Omphalos does not count as an action for Autolycus. Autolycus can claim Omphalos even when taking complex actions. So this makes him super good Omphalos collector. The only thing to make him better, I would love to see the sneak attack dropped and instead replace this with gem collector so that he can snatch Omphalos from adjacent areas. That would be super cool. But maybe there is an improvement card in the the RPG deck that you get with this expansion, where he can get an gem collector talent. Okay, so his other skill is elusive. Block and torment have no effect on Autolycus. So this again fantastically improves his ability to run around, snatch those Omphalos. He has speed too, so this is better than most of the human-sized heroes. The torment, I can pretty much ignore that part, but being able to ignore block is super good when you try to steal an Omphalos from someone. Okay, next we have, this guy, Aladdin. So this is a 100-headed snake. Another impressive sculpt. Love it. Yeah. So Aladdin is a very good defender. He has guard, he has block, he has climb. He has 4 activations, cost 4 points, has pretty good combat stats, 9 life, and he has many bites. Whenever a unit, this is a passive ability, whenever a unit declares Aladdin as the target of a range 0 attack, they suffer an immediate 5 dice attack against which they cannot retaliate. Many bites does not count as Aladdin's retaliation. So, let's see what the second one is. This one costs 2 Art of War cards and counts as an attack. Make a 5 dice attack on all enemy units in range, and his range is 1. So he can basically attack all of the adjacent areas and his area as well. Target units cannot retaliate. So how I imagine using Aladdin is to pick a strategic point for him, put him there, and guard a pass or guard an Omphalos that you want to claim later. Since he has block, the other units will not be able to pass him unless they have also block or they are Autolycus that we just looked at. And just be there and kill everyone who tries to get through. Very nice. Then we have the 3-headed giant. So this is the guy from the box art. He's called Garyun. Another neat sculpt. It's not like the best, but I expected him to be bigger. If you remember let's have a look at the art, right? So this is the art. Here you have Achilles and Heracles. Here you have Garyun, but the size of the mini does not really reflect that. Didn't look like this in the art, did it? No, it did not. So Garyun, he is basically like a new Cerberus. He also has 3 heads. He has similar stats. He has Force of Nature, Mighty Throw and Block. And he has three-headed attack. Make up to 3 attacks on different units within range. Target units cannot retaliate. So if you compare this to Cerberus, he has a very similar ability, but instead of attacking 3 different units in range, he attacks a single unit 3 times with 5 dice. Let's see how many dice he uses. Oh, okay, so he's slightly stronger because he's using his attack strength, which is 8 at the top level. Then he has Shepherd. If a friendly unit in Garyun's surrounding is attacked, and Garyun is also in range, then you may change the target of that attack to Garyun. So this is slightly improved guard. Well, not slightly, it's quite a bit improved guard. So you can not only guard units that are in your own area, but you can also guard units that are in adjacent areas. Again, very nice design of this card. Then we have the last monster in the game is the boar, the Caledonian Boar. This is the one I spoke about when I talked about Atalanta. Yeah, it was summoned by Artemis to punish Atalanta and her fiancé. A nice sculpt. I like it. Piggy! And how does the boar plays? So he costs 3 points, has 4 activations, Mighty Throw and Block, very decent combat abilities. He has Charge, which is pretty much the same as the one that Minotaur has from the base box. I'm not sure if it is exactly the same. I would have to look at the Minotaur's card, but it looks to me pretty much the same. And he has Noxious Breath. At the end of Caledonian's Boar activation, make a 4 dice area attack on his own area. So again, an offensive monster for your army. And then we have 1 troop in Hera's box, which is sad. I think that there should be more troops included. You have plenty of monsters and heroes and gods, but the troops should be the meat of the army. And they are instrumental, I think, in Mythic Battles Pantheon, with the ability to recall them with your god and so on. So these are Sinful Ian Birds. So these are some metallic birds made of metal that Heracles was fighting with during one of his adventures, I think. So they have 3 attack, 6 defense, movement of 2. Of course they fly. They have 3 minis, and if this unit contains at least 2 birds, they can make an area attack. So this is pretty interesting. I haven't seen an ability, an area attack ability on any troop so far. This is the first one, and they have +1 attack if the unit is complete. So the attack will not be massive. It will be just 4 when the unit is complete. And maybe you can bolster them with a hero or a god. Let's have a look at the sculpts. So we got 3 of these birds. These are quite nice. Like, they are not, again, not amazing, but they are actually pretty good. I like them much more than the harpies. The metallic feathers here. Look pretty good. I just dread the removing of the extra flesh and the mold lines on these wings. Oh man, maybe I will not even do that. Yeah, they look, yeah, they are growing up on me. I quite like them. Okay, so this is it for the Hera expansion. This was a longer video than I expected originally. Hope you liked it, and stay tuned for more upcoming videos. Maybe subscribe to our channel, like the video, write a comment, tell me what you think. Thanks guys, see you next time.